Hi, I'm Jason from ablepaws.co.uk, and in this video I'm going to talk to you about 10 common dog feeding myths we see as veterinary professionals on a daily basis. My goal with the end of this video is that you as a dog owner will not only have a better understanding about how to feed your dog, but also will be able to pick out some of the myths and unproven information circling in the veterinary world. So let's jump into the first common dog myth. Contrary to popular belief, many people think that dogs are actually carnivores, so that they only eat meat. Although we do know that this isn't true, and in fact dogs are omnivores. This means that they can eat both plants and both plant material and animal food to get their source of nutrition. This is really important when we do feed our dogs, that we give them a good quality source of not only animal protein, but also of plant feed. So this is just something you should look out for when selecting your dog feed. What about myth number 2? Well, the second most common myth is that homemade diets are actually better for dogs than a veterinary prescription dog feed. So there's been a long-term debate between owners and breeders and vets over many years about which diet is better. There's pros and cons on both sides of the debate, although as a veterinary professional, I would usually recommend feeding a specific tailor-made veterinary nutritionalist approved dog food. So why is this the case? Well, if you do feed a specific dog food specifically produced by a veterinary professional, you know it's going to comprise of all the material, nutritional factors and ingredients your dog needs to optimize their health. On the other hand, if you do feed a homemade diet, there is a higher risk of these nutritional deficiencies that can occur because your diet might not consist of everything that your dog needs. So just something to consider when you are deciding whether to choose between a home diet or a specific veterinary diet. The third myth we commonly hear from owners is that dry food is always better than wet food for feeding our dogs. Whilst dry food does have some benefits, such as improving dental health and preventing plaque and tartar accumulation, as a veterinary professional, I wouldn't always say that dry food is better than wet food. There are certain instances when wet might be more appropriate than dry food. So, off the top of my head, an example that I could think where I would advise a wet feed over a dry feed would be that if your dog currently has dental disease or has dental pain. This is because wet food is not only softer, but is also more palatable, meaning that it goes down easier and is going to cause them less pain when trying to eat. This is a real benefit as it can prevent things such as weight loss, especially in a post-op recovery period where we're trying to keep your dog as strong as possible and prevent this from occurring. Another common myth that we commonly hear from owners and breeders is that a raw food diet is always better for our dog's health than a cooked or a dry feed diet. Well, raw food diet does have some claims to be better. For example, there's claims from many owners that it's good for skin health and coat health. Although, as a veterinary professional, I would say there are certain risks, and these risks generally outweigh the benefits of a raw feed diet. Some of the risks we can see is that they're actually higher in the bacteria, so bacteria such as Salmonella and E. coli, and also in parasites. This is because if the food isn't being cooked, then these pathogens, such as the bacteria and the parasites, aren't being killed in this process. This not only can pose a higher risk for your dog's health, causing gastrointestinal issues, but also something that we call a zoonotic disease. And what this means is that this bacteria and parasites can actually transfer from your animal to humans and cross the animal-human barrier. So again, it's just another consideration if you do choose to feed a raw food diet. Just please be careful to avoid these risks. So another common myth that we really see with dog food is that people believe all dogs require the same amount of food. Well, we know this isn't the case because there's many factors that we need to consider when deciding how much to feed our dog. Some key factors to consider would be body weight, age, breed, and activity level. So as you can see here, I've got quite a small dog. She's very old as well. So this means she's not very active. So she is going to need a much lower amount of feed than, for example, a working collie or a police dog like a German Shepherd or a Malinois. So it's really important to tailor this based on the activity levels of your dog. If you are unsure how much to feed your dog to start with, One nice guide would be to follow the feeding instructions on the box of your feeding packet. What you can then do over time is monitor changes in their body weight by regularly weighing your dog, which can either be done at home or on the scale, and tailoring it based on the fluctuations. So for example, if your dog is gaining too much weight too quickly, you can slightly reduce the amount of grams of feed that you give. Conversely, on the other side, if you see that your dog is losing too much weight, you can increase and bump up that food to meet their calorie demands. If you do decide to change to a new dog feed, another common myth is that you can abruptly end your old diet and immediately start your new diet. What I would advise here is to gradually wean your dog off of the old diet and onto their new diet. What this will do is it will prevent the risk or minimally reduce the risk of digestion issues and leading to things like vomiting and diarrhea. What you can do over a period of a week or two is gradually decrease the amount of their old food whilst gradually increasing the amount of the new food. What this will do is allow their gut bacteria and good beneficial microflora to adapt to the new food, therefore preventing any digestion issues. It is important to note if you do see digestion issues when moving on to a new food, for example, as I have here from Nature's Protection Superior Care, which I use for my dog, then please do just consult your vet and return back to your original feed to prevent any long-term digestion issues. So another common misconception we commonly see when feeding our dogs is that all human feed is safe for our dogs. And well, we know this just isn't the case. So some feeds that you should never ever feed your dog would be I have some examples here. So dark chocolate, first of all, this contains a toxin called theobromine, which can be really dangerous. Also dried fruits, such as raisins and also grapes, can be nephrotoxic, meaning they have negative impacts on the kidney. And also another common household product is artificial sweeteners. So like the sweeteners that we put in our tea and coffee, these contain xylitol, which again can cause hypoglycemia and can be really dangerous for our dog's health. So please just do avoid these. Some signs that we see if a dog does have a toxin issue would be a sudden onset of vomiting, diarrhea, or neurological signs. So if you do see these signs and think your dog has ingested one of these products that I mentioned, please do immediately take them to the vet, as this is quite an urgent issue. So another really common myth that we see is that many owners think their dogs need a constant food supply out in their dog bowl. Whilst this might be the case for some dogs who are really struggling to gain weight, for the majority of dogs, this isn't the case. Having free food down all the time can lead to risks such as obesity and excessive weight gain. What I tend to personally do with my dog is to feed her twice a day. Here, this allows me to monitor how much food she is getting and also control her calorie intake, preventing her from losing too much weight or gaining too much weight. So the last two myths I would like to debunk in this video is, first of all, that expensive, luxurious and premium dog feeds are always better than our more affordable versions. I don't really believe this is the case because there's some other factors that I believe are way more important for your dog's health. These being the nutritional information, a good quality protein source, and a diet that is made in conjunction with vets and also veterinary nutritionalists. The final myth that I would like to debunk in this video is that dog feeding is really complex and that you need to supply your dog with loads of supplements in addition to their diet. Whilst this is the case with some feeds, if you do choose to use a complete feed, this means that they will get all of the nutritional requirements from this feed. Why this is nice for the owner is that it can be the complete sole food source, so you don't have to worry about giving them additional supplements on the side, which can increase the cost and also just be an inconvenience and nuisance for the owner. So there we have it. There's really 10 common dog feed myths when it comes down to feeding your dog debunked. If you did find this video useful, then I would advise you to hit the like button and also give me a subscribe to the Able Paws channel while you're at it. Also, for more information and guides on how to feed your dog and also other reviews and guides on how to maintain and keep your dog in tip-top health and shape, then head over to the Able Paws website. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.